Hi guys, cinematic recap here. Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I'm gonna explain a European drama and satirical black comedy movie, called Triangle of Sadness. The movie starts with a young man named Carl, who is trying his luck at modeling. Because he had once been a magazine advertisement model, the judges immediately accept him as their model. Carl's girlfriend, Yaya, is also a model and influencer. After having dinner at a restaurant, Carl waits for her to pay the bill because Yaya promised to pay for today's food. For some reason, Yaya does not want to pay at first, even though she earns more than Carl. When Yaya wants to pay, her credit card cannot be used, so Carl ends up paying for the food. On their way home, Carl explains that he just wants Yaya to be a responsible person. However, his reason is still not enough, and the two start bickering about money and even gender roles. A few moments later, Yaya comes to Carl's room and apologizes to him, regretting what she did just now. A few days later, they are invited on a luxury cruise aboard a superyacht in exchange for promoting it on social media. The chief of staff, Paula, orders the crew members to fulfill the guests' absurd requests in hopes of earning generous tips. While Carl and Yaya are sunbathing on the rear deck, a crew member suddenly takes off his shirt in front of them, which teases Yaya a bit. Seeing this, Carl looks jealous and decides to report the crew to Paula. At that moment, he also plans to propose to Yaya by giving her a diamond ring. Afterwards, Paula tries to call the yacht's captain for a safety drill, but the captain says he is not feeling well. Among the wealthy guests are the Russian oligarch Dmitry and his wife Vera, who own a fertilizer business for agriculture, the elderly couple Clementine and Winston, who have made their fortune manufacturing grenades, and Therese, who is only capable of speaking a single sentence in German following a stroke. After lunch, Carl is surprised to see that the crew he reported earlier have been fired. At night, a lonely tech millionaire named Jarmo seems to be looking for friends, but he only sees Yaya and Vera there. With the excuse that his girlfriend couldn't come, he asks Yaya to take a photo of him. After that, Yaya and Vera unexpectedly try to cheer him up by taking a group photo. Because of their generosity, Jarmo wants to repay their kindness by buying them luxury watches. Furthermore, Yaya dances in front of Jarmo, which makes Carl jealous for the second time, but she eventually manages to mend their relationship later. The next morning, Vera asks all the crew members to swim in the pool. At first, Paula disagrees with it, considering the crew have to prepare captain's dinner for later, but after hearing some inputs from her assistant Darius, she finally allows them to swim. Therefore, all the working crew members are heading towards the deck, while Darius tries to tell the captain about it. The yacht's captain, Thomas, finally comes out from his cabin and tries to cover up that he had been spending his time drunk. Shortly after that, the entire crew members jump into the sea one by one to please Vera. Soon, Paula gets Thomas to sober up and attend the captain's dinner. At the same time, the yacht passes through a storm, which causes several of the guests to become violently seasick, and panic finally breaks out. Meanwhile, Thomas and Dmitry are having a conversation about socialism and capitalism. Not only that, they also play games until both of them get very drunk. The drunken Dmitry comes to the captain's cabin and declares an emergency call that the ship is sinking, which obviously makes things worse. Not long after that, Thomas also joins him, and they continue the argument over the intercom. Several guests are injured as the storm continues to toss the ship, and the power eventually goes out. The following morning, pirates appear out of nowhere and decide to attack the yacht. They quickly kill Clementine and Winston with one of their own grenades and end up capsizing the yacht. Fortunately, a small group of survivors consisting of Carl, Yaya, Dmitry, Therese, Paula, and Jarmo manage to escape to an uninhabited island. Having never been to the wilderness, the wealthy guests are frightened by the sounds of animals in the night, one of them even lighting their last flare out of panic. The next day, the group finds a lifeboat washed ashore. Apparently, a toilet manager named Abigail has been staying inside with a lot of supplies since the accident. Paula quickly orders her to open the hatch and has her distribute the supplies to the others. Abigail, the only one with any survival skills, manages to catch an octopus to eat later that night. As Abigail gets more food than the others, Paula confronts her and reminds her to serve the guests. Surprisingly, Abigail quickly sheds her lowly crew member status and usurps command. After that, Abigail, Paula, and Yaya sleep in the lifeboat, while the others sleep outside keeping the bonfire alive. Dmitry even offers his luxury watches to Abigail in exchange for sleeping in the lifeboat, but his efforts are in vain. On the other hand, Carl and Nelson find a pack of pretzel sticks inside Abigail's bag and decides to eat them. The following day, Dmitry is sad to find his wife dead. Abigail eventually discovers that her pack of pretzel sticks was being eaten by Carl and Nelson, so she punishes the two by not getting any food for them. Because of this, they can only watch the others eat at night. During dinner, Abigail keeps her eyes on Carl and ends up inviting him to sleep with her in the lifeboat. Yaya grows jealous, but Carl promises her not to have any sexual relations with Abigail. When morning arrives, Carl steals pretzel sticks before leaving the lifeboat and then gives them to Yaya. Long story short, the survivors bond and come to terms with their new situation. At one time, Jarmo successfully hunts a donkey, though he could not bear to kill it. As the group celebrates his success, Yaya spots Carl's hand under Abigail's jacket, which makes her suspect that Carl is having an affair. In the middle of a stormy night, it is revealed that Abigail has coerced Carl into a sexual relationship in exchange for him getting special privileges and food. At that point, Carl also considers leaving Yaya for Abigail. The next morning, Nelson finally admits to Dimitri that he was a pirate. Yaya comes to the lifeboat and borrows a backpack because she decides to hike to the other side of the island. Hearing this, Abigail volunteers to go with her despite Carl's concerns. After a long journey, they finally discover an elevator and realize that they have been stranded near a luxury resort. Yaya is very happy to find the elevator, but Abigail seems reluctant to enter. After asking for a moment to relieve herself, Abigail prepares to attack Yaya with a rock, but hesitates when the oblivious Yaya offers Abigail work as her assistant. In the meantime, Therese encounters a beach vendor, but unfortunately, she is unable to communicate her situation. The movie ends with Carl seen running frantically through the forest. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.